The old halls of Ridgemont Academy echoed with the usual chatter of elite children, sons and daughters of CEOs, actors, politicians. No one noticed the janitor. Except Mia. She didn't speak. She never had. 8 years old, brown curls tied in ribbons, eyes full of thoughts no one heard. She was the daughter of Claudia Remington, CEO of Rem Tech, and a woman colder than winter wind. Claudia dropped Mia off in black sedans with tinted windows and rarely said goodbye. Everyone assumed the girl was broken. Everyone, except the janitor. Liam Turner mopped floors, wiped tables, and fixed squeaky hinges. He wore a faded cap and had tired eyes that had seen too much for a 36-year-old. A single dad with a teenage son, Liam wasn't supposed to engage with students. But Mia wasn't just another student. She watched him sweep with fascination. Every morning at 6:50 a.m., she was already in the hallway, just sitting there in her uniform, silent. Waiting. One rainy Monday, he sat across from her with a cup of hot cocoa from the vending machine. "You know," Liam said gently, "my son didn't talk until he was 4. People thought he couldn't. Turns out, he just didn't want to say the wrong thing." Mia didn't blink, just stared, but the way her fingers curled slightly into her sleeve told Liam she was listening. Each day after that, Liam would sit a few minutes near her. Sometimes humming an old folk song. Sometimes telling her stories about the ocean. Mia remained mute, but she always listened. And one morning, after weeks of silent routine, she slid a napkin toward him with a crayon-drawn whale. It wasn't a word, but it was everything. Dash dash dash. Behind the glass, Claudia Remington watched from her office one floor above. Her private surveillance, installed to monitor the school for security, allowed her a window into her daughter's silent world. But this janitor, wasn't part of the plan. She watched as Mia drew for him, sat with him, smiled, faintly, once. Claudia hadn't seen her daughter smile in months. Claudia had poured millions into speech therapy, psychologists, tutors. She'd fired nannies who failed to fix Mia. She had buried her own guilt about the girl's silence under corporate deals and gold-rimmed champagne glasses. And now here was a man with dirt under his nails and scuffed boots getting through to her. Claudia should have been furious. She should have called security. But instead, she turned off the sound and kept watching. Dash dash dash. Liam's secret. Liam's story was not the kind people liked to hear. Once a promising civil engineer, he had walked away from it all when his wife was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He worked nights. He raised a son. He changed diapers on coffee breaks and read blueprints by hospital light. After his wife died, his son stopped smiling. Then came the fights, the failing grades. Liam took the janitor job to be closer to him, to stay present. But the boy grew distant. Helping Mia gave Liam something back. It reminded him of the father he still wanted to be. Dash dash dash. The whisper. One Thursday morning, the storm outside howled through the glass windows. Power flickered. Students stayed home. Except Mia. She was there, sitting on the hallway bench, waiting. Liam almost didn't show up. His son had a meltdown that morning. But something told him to come. When he saw Mia wet from the rain, hugging her knees, he rushed to her. "You okay, kiddo?" She looked up, tears in her eyes. And then, so soft, it might have been the wind. "Don't go." Liam froze. The mop dropped from his hands. Her lips had moved. "Mia," he whispered. "Don't go," she repeated, louder this time. Tears pricked Liam's eyes. He knelt down, stunned. "I'm not going anywhere." Behind the hallway wall, through a hidden surveillance camera feed, Claudia Remington stood frozen in her glass-walled office. Her hands trembled, her lip quivered. She, too, had just heard her daughter's voice for the very first time. And she was crying. The next morning, Ridgemont Academy buzzed with rumors. Someone said a student had spoken after years of silence. But no one knew who. The teachers didn't suspect Mia. Why would they? She sat quietly at the back of class, still drawing whales, clouds, and janitors with kind eyes. But in Claudia Remington's private suite above the gymnasium, the truth crashed over her like a wave she never saw coming. Her daughter had spoken, and not to her, not to any of the specialists or therapists she'd hired. To a janitor. To him. Claudia hadn't cried in years. But last night, she sobbed into her pillow like the broken-hearted woman she secretly was. Not because she was angry, but because she finally realized, Mia didn't need fixing. She needed connection. Dash dash dash. A conversation, interrupted. Liam wiped down the lunch tables as usual, but this time he smiled. A smile that reached all the way to the part of his heart he thought had died. She had whispered. She had spoken. Don't go. Simple words, but they weighed 1,000 pounds. As he cleaned, he noticed her watching him again. She stood beside the art room, clutching something close to her chest. When she walked up to him, he saw it, a folded paper whale. For me, he asked. Mia nodded. He unfolded it. Inside, scrawled in a child's uneven hand, were 3 more words, "Thank you, Liam." His heart swelled, and then, a sharp voice echoed across the corridor. Mia. It was Claudia. In heels too sharp and a suit too perfect, she walked toward them like an ice storm. Staff stared. Teachers paused mid-stride. Liam straightened up, brushing his palms on his overalls. Mia froze. Claudia knelt in front of her daughter, awkwardly, stiffly. Not used to being on anyone's level. Mia, she said softly, her voice trembling. You spoke. Mia looked at her, uncertain. Claudia turned her eyes to Liam. I've been watching, she admitted. I had cameras. Security. Not because of you, Mia. But, I didn't know how else to understand you. I've tried everything. Liam could see the shame fighting behind her eyes. I saw what you did, she continued, now addressing him. You made her feel safe. In a way none of us could. Liam didn't respond immediately. He was used to being invisible to people like her. I didn't make her do anything, he finally said. She just needed someone who didn't expect anything from her. That hit Claudia like a brick. The mother behind the mask. That night, Claudia sat alone in her penthouse, watching old home videos on a projector. Mia as a baby, before her father left. Her first birthday, where no one came but Claudia's secretary. The toddler's laughter, now long gone. Claudia hadn't noticed when Mia went silent. Maybe because she hadn't been listening. She remembered the day her husband left. You're more CEO than mother, he said coldly. You don't know how to love. And God help that child if she ever needs you. Now Claudia wondered, had he been right? The invitation. The following morning, Liam was finishing the garden bench behind the school when he saw Claudia walking toward him, not in heels, but in flats. Not with a bodyguard, but alone. Mr. Turner, she said. Just Liam, he replied, cautious. She sat on the bench beside him. I never got to say thank you. He shrugged. You don't have to. I do, she insisted. Because I judged you, assumed things, but you helped my daughter. Without degrees or reports or money. Just kindness. Liam studied her. Sometimes people just need someone to sit beside them, he said. No pressure. No questions. She nodded, looking away. I used to think power meant control. Controlling outcomes, emotions, people. But, the more I tried to control Mia, the quieter she became. Liam didn't preach. He just listened. Then she handed him a sealed envelope. What's this? A job offer, she said. Not for janitorial work, for a new position at my foundation. We're starting a special program for neurodiverse and trauma-affected children. I want you to be part of it. Liam blinked. Ma'am, I barely finished community college. Claudia smiled, almost human for once. You finished something better. You reached my daughter. Healing, together. Over the next few weeks, things changed at Ridgemont. Mia began speaking in short sentences, only with Liam at first. Then with her teacher. One day, she said, Mom, in a quiet voice, and Claudia left the room to cry in the hallway. Liam's own son, Aiden, started volunteering at the school. He watched his father with Mia and slowly began opening up again. For the first time in years, they ate dinner without silence. On a quiet spring morning, Claudia invited Liam and Aiden to brunch at her estate. It wasn't fancy, just pancakes and orange juice in a sunny garden. Mia clung to Liam's arm as she told him about her favorite book. She never used to talk at all, Claudia whispered, watching with moist eyes. She just needed someone to hear her, Liam said. The Unseen Legacy. Months later, at the launch of the Mia Foundation for Quiet Voices, Claudia gave a speech before an audience of parents, children, and educators. I used to believe success came from ambition, she said. But today I know it comes from connection, from listening, from choosing to sit beside someone when the world walks past. She gestured to Liam, who stood in the back in a simple shirt, holding a mop out of habit. This man reminded me what humanity looks like. He taught my daughter to whisper. And in doing so, he taught me to listen. The crowd stood. Liam didn't know where to look. But Mia ran into his arms and whispered, I'm proud of you. He'd never been applauded before. But somehow, that whisper was louder than any standing ovation. Epilogue. A garden bench. Years later, a weathered garden bench sits behind Ridgemont Academy with a plaque. For those who choose to listen, even when no one speaks. In honor of Liam Turner. A little girl and her mother often sit there, reading books aloud. And sometimes, you can almost hear the echoes of a whisper that changed everything.